of the biggest storylines from the Champions League final. There's a lot of storylines in this Champions League final. There's always storylines in the Champions League final. You know, I think we gotta start off with Toni Kroos. He's gonna be playing his last last game for Real Madrid, but just game club-wise in his career. It'll be the end of his club career after this Saturday. He had a phenomenal career at Real Madrid, at Bayern, the Champions Leagues, the Bundesligas, the La Ligas. He's done it all. He's won it all. He's one of the best midfielders of all time and has had a brilliant club career. And what a great way to end off his career, and then lifting the Champions League with Real Madrid. It'll just be the perfect fitting for a marvelous career. So yeah, obviously that is a huge headline as he enters his final games of a footballer this summer. I think another huge storyline here, and a storyline, and honestly, that's been gone under the radar. I haven't heard much people talk about it, which is a little like even me. I forgot about. I didn't even notice this storyline until I heard it from a mention, but it's the fact that Jude Bellingham playing against his former team, playing against Borussia Dortmund in this final a year after leaving them to face them in the Champions League final. I think that's a big storyline that nobody is talking about. Obviously it's a huge opportunity for Jude Bellingham to win his first Champions League and to really, in terms of English youngsters, really elevate him from, the likes of other previous England golden youngsters. Winning a Champions League and winning it with Real Madrid, the pedigree there is in that, being able to put that on his CV, that would be a phenomenal for his career, just absolutely phenomenal. So that is a big storyline there. I think Jadon Sancho, his comeback, the comeback that he's had from, practicing with the Man United youngsters earlier this season to now starting on a team that's going to play in the Champions League final. I think that's a massive storyline, especially if he goes in there and he has, a performance similar to what he had against PSG in that leg one, and, just dominate Real Madrid the way he was able to dominate PSG and give Ferland Mendy suffering to make him suffer. I think that'd be huge for him. I think it'd be huge, for United too, in the fact that I think that will really drive his value up. And I just think that's a big storyline, just the miraculousness of him not even being just playing for a youth team to go and be that's just a huge factor. Real Madrid potentially winning their 15th La Liga. That's huge storyline. Real Madrid, they've been a team, these Champions Leagues, they're double the next, which is AC Milan. They have a chance to more than just double it with 15. There'll be 8 more than double more than the second place team in terms of most Champions League. They have a chance to continue to add the legacy onto that great club of just pure dominance in the Champions League, in this major club football world. Just another major title. I think that'll be huge for them, winning the 15th, and not much to be added from that. It's just another crazy accomplishment for Real Madrid. I think the Lunin versus Courtois discussion is a huge storyline too. Lunin, he has been very good since he's came in. There was some struggles at the beginning having had needing players to take gold kicks and all that. But he's eased into it, and he's made some very important saves, especially in the knockout stages for Real Madrid in the Champions League. He's been very, very important. But now Courtois is coming back, having played the last few La Liga games and having played very well. I think it's highly likely that he's going to be the one starting on this Saturday. When you also combine that with the fact that Courtois hasn't, Alunin is not going to be able to travel with the team. He's going to travel on his own because of the fact that he has influenza and the fact that he has the flu. I think that also could hurt his chances in the grand scheme of things. I think with the two managers, there can be massive implications on both of them. I think as far as Carlo Ancelotti, it continues to add to his career, and he spoke about how he's adapted, how he has been a manager, talking about how during his time earlier in his career managing within Serie A, he had players that didn't really fit his system, even though they were talented players, and he would just let them go. But as his career went on, he realized more that you gotta fit to what the players you got, and I think at Real Madrid, he's done a brilliant job of playing the style of play based on what the players have, what you have, being able to adapt, being able to play defensive football, being able to play more attacking, open-ended football, possession-oriented football. They've done a very good job of adapting under Carlo Ancelotti, and Carlo Ancelotti has done a good job in adapting to his players. So I think a win for him just continues to add his legacy and, really make a case to, really be up there in the coaching discussions when it comes to, the top of the top. I think he has a real opportunity to really get up there. What he's done now, defeated Pep Guardiola in the last 2 of the 3 Champions League seasons. He's not doing it against, poor opposition. He's doing it against the best of the best. And as far as Edin Terzic, though, huge implications for him. If he can win the Champions League with Borussia Dortmund, man, I think getting to the final is actually really huge, even though he's not getting the buzz that I think he should be getting. But if he can win the Champions League, I think he becomes, immediately for the following season, not this season obviously, but the season after that, he becomes one of the most coveted coaches out there. He's young. He's young. He's led this Borussia Dortmund team to a Champions League final. The way that they did it, he made them better than the sum of their parts, because their players are, quite frankly, are decent. But you wouldn't before the season, we didn't expect them to be here. And I think Edin Terzic has done a big, the way he's came in, he was an interim at first, did pretty well, but still they went with a manager in Marco Rosa after his, period of being an interim. And Marco Rosa going wrong, and him coming back in, the way he revitalized this Dortmund team, getting them to play, with more confidence. He's done a brilliant job, and I think if he can win the Champions League, I think he really sets himself up in a good manner to go after one of these top jobs in the future. There's the Matt Hummels comments that were very, very interesting that he made last night or yesterday, discussing Borussia Dortmund's style of play and how it wasn't good enough and how they needed to bring in, assistant coaches to change it. I think it was a really weird thing to say a few days before the Champions League final. He was talking about how, he thinks it's, the way Bayern played was wrong, and, he couldn't, that he couldn't connect with it, and he had many talks with the manager. He was saying this. And for me, it was just like, you're in a Champions League final in a few days. How could he be so tone deaf? And it's kind of a shot to the manager, talking about how they needed to bring in new assistants to, improve the style of play. But I think Edin Terzic, he was, he had a good reason for wanting to play a little bit more defensive football. When your center backs are Sule and Matt Hummels, I think I don't think he looks stupid for making the decision he made. And look, now they're in the Champions League final. Maybe that has to do with the change in style that Matt Hummels said happened throughout the season. But I just think it was really tone deaf comment to make. And now I have to say the biggest storyline of this is Borussia Dortmund attempting the miracle. I mean, that's the biggest storyline. Everyone watching this game, they're watching this game to see if the miracle could be pulled off by Borussia Dortmund. And it will be a miracle for them to win the Champions League. Nobody expected them before this season to win the Champions League. Nobody gave them even a puncher's chance to win the Champions League. If they can do that with this team, with the team of 11 that they have, it will be a remarkable achievement. It would be a seismic shift in the way how we see Borussia Dortmund. And it'll just be the most famous night for this club, being able to do it against Real. I know they won the Champions League before, but being able to do it against this version of Real Madrid, the way that they've been dominant in the Champions League with their comebacks in the last minute and all that, and despite having a poor season relatively in terms of how they should perform in Bundesliga, finishing fifth, a poor season, and going on to win the Champions League, it'll be that is an absolutely remarkable achievement.